Welcome. We're so glad to have you join us as part of this You Asked, We Answered product training. I'm Isaac Bottleberg. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Melaleuca.
And I'm Patrick Jones. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing here at Melaleuca.
We're really excited to talk to you more about the products that we launched just under 2 weeks ago at January launch. And we have some additional information that we really want to share, and we're excited to jump into it.
So Isaac, for those in our audience who maybe weren't able to attend launch, what were some of the cool things that we launched?
Yeah, so we've got some really important piece, and because there's so much to these products and because they can have such an enormous impact, we wanted to spend more time to dive into the science. So if you look here, you can see we've got GC Control. That's a product that Melaleuca has had for years, and it's been produced phenomenal results, and we've made it even better. And we have berberine, or berberine, it's pronounced both ways. That's a glucose support, and there's some real impactful science behind it that we're going to be talking about today, as well as diving into some products that we didn't have a chance to talk about, and we'll give you some sneak peek into some products that are coming. So there's a lot to really cover.
You do not want to miss this whole day today because you're going to see things that we didn't talk about at lunch. You're going to learn about things that are coming in the future and some really exciting announcements that we've been waiting to make. And I know I'm excited to talk about them with you all today.
Yeah. Now, I know for some of you, this may be your first, I'll call it detailed product training experience. So for you, let's talk a little bit about Melaleuca's product philosophy. Just before we dive into the details, make sure that you understand that because it is very different, and that makes all the difference here. Patrick, do you want to jump into that?
Yeah, this is something that I absolutely love to talk about. When I look at former colleagues or friends that I have within the CPG industry, a lot of them ask me, like, why Melaleuca? Why go to a small company in Eastern? I go, how can they do it so much differently than big CPG companies out there? And I love to tell that story because it is the genius behind our business model that allows us to put money where it should be. We're not paying for celebrity endorsements. We're not paying for shelf space. We're not paying for all these other fees that the end customer, you all, end up paying for to have a celebrity sell you a product. Instead, we're able to put that money into amazing ingredients, amazing sourcing, safe. I mean, I talk about this a lot. I come from the beauty industry. I would say that when Melaleuca started over 38 years ago, most companies were more focused on how big your bangs are going to be and how to get your bangs bigger, while we were focused on safe, non-toxic ingredients. And that's what makes Melaleuca truly special. We started one way, and we've stayed that way, and we were continually to progress, continuing to make things better and better and better.
Yeah, I do think that's one of the things that really makes us different is we are a mission-focused company.
Absolutely.
And that mission is to enhance lives. And so that means we approach things very differently. I think GC Control, which we're going to talk more about today, is a good example. We've been in this space for decades, and we found a way to make an exceptional product even better. And that's just the way that we approach things is certainly, from a business standpoint, GC Control, phenomenal seller. It sells really well. There's no change that's needed there, but we found a way to produce even better results for our customers, and we went there because we're about enhancing lives, and I think that makes an enormous difference.
Amazing difference. I mean, one of the things that always interests me as we go to develop a new product and as we work with our R&D team to develop a new product is how we never look at it from one angle. It's never just, we need to fix the gut. We need to fix blood sugar. It's about how does everything work together? How does the body interconnect? How does the health of one system affect the health of another? The same scientists working on skin are also working on bones and joints and the heart and the brain, and it all needs to be functioning to live or enhance that life. That's part of our mission, right?
Yeah, no, it is really interesting to get all these different scientists, experts in their space, and have the conversations and see how that kind of goes. And it's very educational and learning, which that's a good thing is we're kind of going through this. We've got your questions here, and we're going to go through and we're going to answer them. And some of them, we may answer some questions that you didn't know that you had, because we're going to talk about, I'll call it some of the bigger picture things. And in that, we'll answer your individual questions. And if I miss something, or Patrick, if you miss something, we'll jump in and we'll make sure that you get your questions answered and hopefully have some fun while we're doing it. So anything else before we start talking a little bit about the details of the products?
I think you've covered it, but when you're talking about big picture, Isaac, let's talk about blood sugar.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's something that so many people discount and miss and don't understand. You know, they think, oh, I don't have X disease or X disease, I don't need to worry about. So talk to us a little bit about what this thing even is.
Yeah, so that's great. I think this is really important to understand is we're talking about our body systems being interconnected. So when we talk about blood sugar, metabolism, I'm going to go through the science so you can understand it. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit simple so I don't go too deep. So if I oversimplify some things for the experts in the room, just help. We're trying to make sure everyone can understand this. But really understanding this, and when we talk about blood sugar is the energy source for all of your body systems. So when you have a challenge or a dysfunction in this particular space, it can start to manifest in other areas, and we'll talk about some of that today. So let's start big picture here. So what is blood sugar, right? So blood sugar is the measure of glucose, which is a simple sugar, in your blood. And it's really how much of that glucose is in your blood. And your glucose, that is the primary energy source for your body. So when your body needs energy to run at the brain or run the liver, it's pulling that glucose out. Does that make sense?
It does. So how does that glucose even get into your bloodstream in the beginning? Like, is it you eat sugar, or does it come from other sources as well?
It's going to come from a variety of different sources. Certainly, you're going to have a larger impact in the amount of glucose that enters into your bloodstream when you eat something that's really sugary. So let's use an example to kind of help walk through this. So let's say that you eat a delicious donut, right? So I eat the donut. It starts to go through my digestion system, and as it hits the small intestine, then it's going to start to be absorbed into your blood. And in that particular scenario, because that donut is a simple sugar, it's really, really fast and easy to break it down into that simple sugar glucose, which means it's going to be absorbed really fast into your bloodstream. So that donut, as it hits your bloodstream, you're going to see your blood sugar start to go up. And it's going to peak relatively fast. So sometimes you might experience that it's a sugar high. Your body is going to say, because it really wants to balance the amount of blood sugar that's in your system, because it leads to that energy, is going to introduce a hormone called insulin. So that insulin is going to follow afterwards, and it's going to tell your body and the individual cells to say, hey, we've got all this energy, all this glucose that's here, you need to absorb it. So that insulin comes after that blood sugar and is saying, muscles, liver, take this up and store it. So there's a little bit of a delay effect. So if you can imagine kind of a graph here, I go up, and then there's a little bit of a delay, and the insulin comes up, and it's telling your body to absorb that. So for something that is a simple sugar like a donut, that means you're going to have that insulin spike as well, and your body's going to start to adapt, and that's going to result in that blood sugar coming down. So you go up and you go down. So when you have that down experience, how does your body kind of tell you, or how do you know you're experiencing that?
I mean, I can tell you, for me, I start to feel tired, groggy. To my teams, they'll tell me all the time, moody even, right? So just so I can recap for a second, just so I make sure I understand, and maybe for those who don't know blood sugar as well understand. So you eat the donut. That donut translates into glucose into the bloodstream, spikes your blood sugar up, and then insulin is released to help control or direct that blood sugar to your cells for energy, right? That's kind of what happens. And as it directs it to the cell, then that blood sugar starts to drop down, right? That's that peaks and valley.
Peaks and valleys,
yep.
And that is very, very common. It's something that's going to be absorbed very quickly. So that's going to be something like a donut, or if you're drinking something that's high in sugar, you're going to have this really, really high spike, where other things that might be high in fiber or have a different composition, it's going to take longer for your body to break that down, and therefore it's going to be absorbed slower, and you're not going to see that same spike. Now that spike and valley process, that's really, really important, because it drives a lot more of our behavior than we really recognize. So when you have that spike, you've got that energy. Once you start going low and you're going into that valley because of that insulin, you start to feel more cravings for something that's going to bring that energy back. So in that particular scenario, if it is you're low and you had a donut, now your body's basically saying, hey, I'm low on energy, I need something. And because it's lower on that energy, it wants something that's going to be fast energy. That's going to be a carb, that's going to be a sugar, and you're starting to feel those cravings. So once you start on that cycle of up and down and up and down, it can really run your whole day and start you into a really bad result of eating habits.
So, one of the things that fascinated me when I was learning about blood sugar myself was how the insulin release or that first phase insulin release that happens when you eat a meal is actually very dependent on the previous meal you had. So if you think the traditional American diet or the American breakfast where you have high sugar, high carbs in the moment, those donuts, pancakes, and so right there in the morning you train your body that, hey, I'm going to be eating high sugars, I need to get insulin moving, those beta cells start working at their peak. You then go and say, oh, okay, I'm going to have a healthy lunch. I'm going to have a salad and a piece of chicken. Even though you're eating maybe more healthily, your body is going to respond in reaction to what you ate earlier. And so that insulin response is going to go on overload, even though you're just eating a piece of chicken and a salad. And therefore, with all that insulin in your bloodstream, your brain's going to trigger you to start wanting cravings. You're going to want carbs. You're going to want sugars. And I think that, to me, I see that happen to me all the time. And I even tested it out once where I ate something really sugary in the morning and then healthy at lunch, and my cravings were rabid throughout the day. It's amazing how quick and impactful that impact can have on you.
Yeah, insulin is an incredibly powerful and important hormone, and that really does drive some of those things. So when you start off on the wrong foot, and even once you've really gotten into those habits, it makes an enormous difference. And this is a place that, as you're talking about it, I want to dive a little bit deeper here into insulin, because this is something that is, I guess, dysfunctions when it comes to insulin is actually very, very common. So whether you hear it as insulin resistance, or sometimes it's metabolic syndrome, or sometimes you'll hear the phrase pre-diabetes, this is a particular situation that is very common. And when I mean common, I'm talking about 50% of the adult American population has some degree of metabolic dysfunction.
So it's not just if I have diabetes?
Oh, it's not just if you have diabetes,
okay.
And it's not just if you're overweight. This is something, in fact, there's some studies that will hint that as high as 88% of people have some degree of what we're going to call insulin resistance. It's not what we call, that's what it is. But I want to dive a little bit more to talk about what that means. So you mentioned beta cells a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned the pancreas. So let's talk a little bit more, just a little bit deeper into the science there. So when your body goes through those up and down cycles and you are putting a lot of insulin in, there are certain receptors in your cells that are basically saying, hey, we want to take that glucose, that energy out of the bloodstream. And over time, as they get more and more insulin signaling saying, hey, take this up, take all that blood sugar in, they start to wear down, and those receptors don't work in the same way. And your body then responds with your pancreas, which is where insulin's created, and those beta cells, when there's still blood glucose, there's still glucose in your blood, and it's trying to balance that out. And so that insulin, they'll say, oh, well, it's not being taken up, and they'll put more insulin in, more insulin in, more insulin in, and your cells are just not taking it up. And that will lead to more challenges when it comes to dietary restrictions and dietary problems, if that makes sense, because you are constantly telling your body, oh, I need to absorb that blood sugar, and that plays an important role in weight management, which we'll get into in just a second.
It's this constant cycle that gets worse and worse and worse, right?
Worse and worse and worse, and that builds over time, that insulin resistance. And that insulin is doing a lot of different things. So its primary function is to tell your cells there's glucose in the bloodstream, I take that energy out. And in some situations, if it's going into a muscle or liver, it's kind of going into short-term storage. Think of it like a fridge, right? So you can go, take it out easy, get that energy. And for other cells, like your fat cells, it's going through a different process, and it's going into a long-term storage, like a freezer. And that insulin is constantly telling your body, put more into storage, put more into storage, put more into storage, because we have this glucose there, and we got to do something with it.
I like the fridge and freezer analogy, because I think so many people don't realize that storage mode can a lot of times ends up in insane weight gain.
It does, and in this situation, the way I like to look at it is it's actually a state of, I would call, weight loss resistance. So there is, when people think about weight loss, and this is more than just weight loss, but let's talk about it because that's a common interest people have. People tend to think of, I'm going to call it a simple formula for weight loss, which is calories in minus calories out, right? And then that's going to equal a change in fat. So if I decrease the number of calories in, I assume that the calories out isn't going to change, and therefore I'm going to lose fat. That's how people tend to think about it. Well, insulin comes along and essentially says, hey, I don't want to burn fat. And then your body is essentially put into a situation where it's trying to balance out this equation. So let's say you start a diet and you might see some initial success, right? You lost a little bit of weight, you're excited about it, and then all of a sudden weight loss starts to become a lot harder. Well, that's because your body has noticed, hey, I'm seeing a decrease in calories in, and I'm hormonally saying don't burn fat. What your body will actually do is it will change the amount of calories out, or basically the amount of calories that you burn. And that, it's called basal metabolic rate, that will change, and then suddenly when you used to be able to lose weight at, I don't know, 1,500 calories, and now your body's adapted to the amount of calories that you have because your body does not want to starve itself, and the hormones are saying don't access the fat because you have so much insulin there. So when people have this insulin dysfunction, weight loss becomes incredibly challenging, and I think that really sets the stage for us to talk a little bit more about the products and the enormous impact that they can have in your life. So let's start with berberine a little bit.
Let's get these questions out.
Let's start hitting some of those questions.
I'll tell you, as we dive into berberine, we've seen a lot of questions that are out there, both on social media. We've got emails, we've got people calling us with tons of questions about berberine. Is it this, is it that? One of the things I want to make sure we say right at the beginning is when it comes to supplementation, it's important to note that supplementation, its core purpose is to help maintain the healthy functioning of your body systems. It is not a medication. It is not to fix a problem. It is not a replacement for a prescription medication. And as Melaleuca, one of the things I love about Melaleuca is we focus on science, we focus on facts, we focus on the truth always. And so as we talk about berberine with friends and family, make sure we're not overstating things or comparing it to prescription drugs, because that's not what it's meant to do, and that's not what it's meant to replace. But I don't want to take away from the power and the cool factor that this amazing supplement has within our line. And I'll tell you, I was extremely excited to learn about it as we were developing. And we've been developing it for quite some time, a few years, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
A few years we've been working on this. And one of the cool things about berberine is it really aids in the proper functioning of glucose metabolism. Isaac just spent a lot of time talking about the role of glucose it plays and the role insulin plays within your body. And berberine comes in and it plays a very critical role in different areas of that overall process. So first of all, in the gut, it really helps to reduce the absorption of glucose in the intestine. So again, you're getting less blood sugar in, even depending on what you're eating. Next thing is
so that's going to slow that spike because I'm not getting that.
Helps even it out a little bit.
Okay, great.
Help even it out a little bit. And then we talked about the important role the liver plays within it. And so it really helps to facilitate the liver uptake of that glucose, which then turns it into glycogen and storing it. It helps to really utilize that glucose even better. It helps promote the release of insulin from the pancreas, again, reducing that insulin resistance that can happen as well. And it enhances the overall distribution of insulin throughout the body as energy. And so really, if you think about berberine, it is really helping at every stage throughout that entire process of blood sugar and how it is used, how it is stored throughout the body. And to be what it allows is, if those systems are functioning properly and as they should, you're going to be able to do a lot more, and all those side effects of what insulin resistance can cause and everything will start to normalize, and that's what berberine really helps. Now that's berberine alone. At Melaleuca, we always want to take it one step farther.
Yeah, so we've combined the berberine with milk thistle. So
yes.
Tell me a little bit more about milk thistle, the role it plays, and why it's such an important combination.
Well, to me, the liver plays such a critical role within the overall process of blood sugar and insulin. And what milk thistle does is it really goes in and helps with the proper functioning of the liver. It helps to reduce free radical activity within the liver, keeps it from being damaged, and helps it just to be overall stronger and more effective for you. So again, if you have berberine out there helping with the function and movement of blood sugar and insulin, and then you have milk thistle working to keep that liver optimizing and functioning at its peak, you've got a system that's really strong and doing what it needs to do for you. And then you add chromium on top of it. And chromium, of course, comes with our Oligo technology that makes sure it gets into your system and makes sure that free radical activity in your gut doesn't destroy everything from the beginning. But that really helps to enhance the insulin receptor activity within the body. So all three of those working together really just, I would say, smooth out the oil in the system, really helps smooth everything out and makes it function as it should. Now, the results of berberine for everybody is going to be a little bit different. It depends on how your body's working, where your body needs it most, what's working and what's not. Everybody's functioning a little different, but what it will do consistently for everybody is keep that functioning as it should in a healthy way.
Yeah, I think one of the key things, if I can add a little bit there,
please.
as you think about milk thistle, and specifically that really helps support the liver. So insulin resistance, and this can vary by individual, can actually happen in stages. So you'll end up specifically in your muscles, you'll have insulin resistance. And then it can really graduate to the liver. And once you start impacting the liver, that really starts to become ground zero for a lot of chronic conditions that can come out of insulin resistance, because that liver plays a key role in, I'll call it, counteracting how that insulin works, because as insulin says, hey, we need to absorb it, your body's natural process to bring it back up is to pull out of the fridge, and that's glycogen,
Exactly.
and pull it out and help balance it. And when you start to run into a situation where your liver is insulin resistant, then you're really starting to run into a problem where you're going to start to see more of that insulin resistant that, as we mentioned before, is very common. And some people don't recognize or realize that they have some degree of insulin resistance, and it won't show up for sometimes decades in a visible, noticeable way. But by that point in time, it has really proceeded to a point where it's really, really challenging. So it kind of muscles first, then the liver, and then when the liver's having problems, then it's going to start to go to your pancreas, and that's going to impact your beta cells that are actually producing insulin, and it just keeps going from there because our body systems are all interconnected.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's tackle some of these questions that we've had come in about our berberine supplement. Now, we've had them come in through calls, through social media, all across the gamut. Emails, exactly. Let's make sure we get these answered for you. One of the most common questions I've seen out there is how much berberine is actually in this supplement. I mean, if you look at the label itself, it lists it as our proprietary blend, and then it talks about the berberine and the milk thistle. But a lot of people want to know, okay, how much berberine is actually in this? Because if you look at competitors, a lot of them will scream all these different dosages. Everybody thinks they're right and what's correct. So within this supplement, there are actually 1,000 milligrams per day. So 2 pills. So each pill.
So each pill has 500.
Correct.
Okay.
Each pill has 500 milligrams of berberine, and so therefore 1,000 milligram dose per day, which from our studies and our research is really where that sweet spot is as far as results go. Now, there may be some of you who a doctor will advise you to take up to 1,500 milligrams per day, and that's fine. If your doctor is advising you that you need a little bit more, that's fine, and then you just take 3 of the pills per day, and that's what is considered up to the safe level. We of course wouldn't recommend any more than that throughout your day.
Yeah. One thing I'll note just on those studies is you've got the berberine itself, but there's also a synergistic effect when you're adding in the milk thistle and when you're adding in the chromium, that you're getting, yes, we've done a lot of research on there, but you're getting more than just if you're saying, oh, I'm going to go and get a competitive berberine product and say, yep, hey, this is exactly 500 milligrams per pill, or I'm taking 1,000 a day. You're actually getting more benefit from just the berberine alone because of that proprietary blend. And the study that we've done shows that it's more effective than just berberine by itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I never want to downplay the power that Oligo has, even though Oligo is tied to the chromium. Oligo's far-reaching impacts on the absorbability of everything that goes into your body is
yeah, I think that makes an enormous difference and really makes this much more effective. Now, Patrick, one of the things that we've got a lot of questions around is this whole concept of weight loss, and is this a weight loss pill? And I know we talked a little about the science, but let's just cover that again and really help people understand the role that this can play in weight loss.
Well, I think what is very clear is that this is not some magic weight loss supplement. And I don't want anybody to think it is. You're not going to start taking it and suddenly you're going to lose all this weight. And you can still go to McDonald's 3 times a day. You know, that's not how it works. You know, you talked about how impactful normalizing your blood sugar is, both on how your body uses and stores fats, but also the cravings that you have throughout the day. So yes, it will help and aid in that natural processes, but there's got to be things you've got to do on top of that. You know, you've still got to be eating healthy. You've still got to be being active and exercising. All of that plays a key role in overall weight loss. You hear about some of these magical weight loss shots that are out there, and you see, oh, I lost all this weight in 2 days, but then the second they go off the shot, they spike right back up in their weight, sometimes even more than it was before. It's because nothing has changed in their lifestyle. Lifestyle plays such a big impact. That's why, when we talk about Melaleuca, we have products, but we also have the R3 program that teaches you how to change that lifestyle and approach food differently and approach habits differently. And this will then aid in how your body is working with that food and working with that energy so that everything is functioning optimally. And yes, weight loss can be a result of it, but it's not just take a pill and you're going to lose weight.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good, it plays a piece in that formula, right?
Yeah.
So in that particular scenario, helping with insulin sensitivity is going to help your body not to change its metabolic function quite as much, but there's still calories in, there's still calories out.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you're going to be like, oh, I take this and I'm done. You know, you've got to make sure that you're balancing that. And, you'll notice when you're starting R3, there's a lot in there about, things that are going to spike your blood sugar, that like those that are high on that glycemic index. There's the same kind of underlying principles there, because understanding those things is really key to helping your body be in a stage where it can, with diet and exercise, start to lose that weight.
One of the things, I did R3 for a number of years, and if you don't know my story, those of you listening out there, I lost over 120 pounds now working with the R3 program. And one of the first things I learned that I would say was one of the most impactful things that impacted my weight loss journey was actually learning what you eat first in the day, which is coming out of that basal insulin overnight process, eating that protein right away, not loading yourself with high sugars right away. Start your body out the right way it should be, and it helps to control those cravings throughout the day. It has massive impact. I didn't realize how much such one step would change everything.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and I feel like, and I know we probably have some more questions on berberine, but that's a really good segue into GC control. So if I
should, let's go there.
Yeah, let's go there. And if we may come back and talk a little bit more on that. So GC control and the role that it plays. So we've had GC control for a long time, and so I'm going to jump in to hit some of those. But we've really one of the key questions I remember is kind of, hey, what's changed about it, right? So we've had for years our Attain with Crave Blocker. And so the way that customers, individuals would use that, and the way that I've used it in the past was, hey, I'm using this to kind of help, I'm hungry, I'm using it as a morning shake or something, and I'm trying to kind of kickstart my metabolism and not end up with those cravings. And because blood sugar plays such an important role in that, we've looked and said there's a lot of people that were using Attain and GC control in the same way, and they're actually better together from a proof standpoint. And so we've taken the protein and the fiber that you had in the Crave Blocker, and we've added it into GC control. And in that particular scenario, we have that fiber really helps slow down the absorption, and that protein helps keep signals to your brain that it's full, and it's going to help you feeling full longer. So that Crave Blocker piece is a really important piece there. And we've also, and I'm excited about GC control, I've been a user of GC control for a long time, and this formula is better than the old formula. We'll get into some of the details on that. One of the other things we've done is, before we had a variety of extracts. We had sweet potato extract, mulberry extract, and we've actually done quite a bit of research here and found that there's a bean extract that actually performs superior to some of those other extracts. And specifically what that's doing is it's slowing down how fast your body is breaking down some of those more complex either carbohydrates or sugars or other things. And so really you've got kind of a multi-pronged approach here. So you're inhibiting or slowing down how fast you're breaking down some of those things. The fiber is also slowing that absorption. The protein is signaling to your body that you're full, and that combination is going to really help smooth out that cycle that we talked about of ups and downs. So instead of having that spike when you have that craving, rather than reaching for the donut, when you reach for GC Control, it's going to help your body start to stabilize that blood sugar, not have the spike, not have that valley, but is going to help you to be able to deal with those cravings, but set you up better for the next meal that you're going to have and really be able to make smarter choices when it comes to your diet.
I think what I love about what's happened with GC Control is I think going back to the beginning of this session where we talked about how Melaleuca does things differently, I think it's the perfect example of our approach, right? It's not about, we could go out and improve Attain and we could go out and improve GC Control and sell you two products. No, we want to focus on what is really going to enhance your lives. What is the best technology? Let's challenge our own technology. Let's challenge our own formulas and make them better and better and better. And the addition of the bean seed extract is just an example of that. And then combining the formulas to make it easier for our customers to be able to get what they need. I love that about how we approach our product development.
Yeah. Now, I know anytime that you are touching a product that people love, there's always questions. I got several questions about it. So I want to talk a little bit about some of why the difference and hit on a couple things here. So one of the things that came up is, people who love the old GC Control, we had a clinical there, and we talked about a 37% reduction in appetite, less fatigue, and we had a product that really works. Why change it at all? And so we have done clinical research on this new formulation, and we've seen improvements in your post-meal blood sugar. So that's not going up as high. We're impacting that more. We've done some research there, and it's not just that post-meal blood sugar, but it's also your fasting blood sugar level, because you're making better choices, and it's overall impacting that. So it really can play a significant role in improving your overall blood sugar. And one of the things that really excited me as I looked at it is you actually saw some pretty significant impacts to your lipids. And when I say lipids, I'm talking about cholesterol, a decrease in cholesterol, a decrease in your LDL cholesterol, an improvement in your HDL, that's your good cholesterol, a decrease in your very low density lipoproteins, that's your VLDL, which has a significant impact. So you're looking at all those things, so you're seeing improvement in blood sugar, you're seeing an improvement in lipids, and when you have something like that, that's a real winner. And I'm talking about notable increases here, and so this really sets you up to be able to make better decisions when it comes to your diet.
That's incredible. So let's get to a few more of these questions here on GC Control. Can you use it with berberine? Is it instead of? Well, either or? How does that work?
Yeah, so they work really well together in synergies. You can absolutely use them together. As Patrick kind of outlined, you've got berberine, which is going to play a key role in, I'll call it the gut, and certainly GC Control is going to play a role there as well. Berberine is going to help with that insulin sensitivity to help with your body's uptake of that glucose. GC Control is going to play, I'll call it a more immediate impact, where berberine is going to take a little bit of time to help impact that insensitivity. So if you're starting on something, I would absolutely go to GC Control. GC Control can also, so we're talking about when to take it and why, which is one of the questions here. I've used it a lot when I'm craving for a particular snack. Hey, let's go to GC Control, let's make that smarter decision. But you can also take it like 30 minutes before a meal, and that is going to help even out that blood sugar response, and it's going to help you to be able to really digest that food a little bit slower, and it's going to help you to feel full longer. So those are real, two key times that you might want to consider taking GC Control, and it's going to work really well in complement with berberine. And so these are things I would absolutely consider taking together. They have synergistic effects because they're hitting different methods of action, and both of them are going to help you to get in control of your blood sugar, which is going to help you with weight management, and is going to help you with energy levels and your mood, because it's the energy sources for all of those different places in your body.
That's incredible. I'll have to say a guilty pleasure that I've discovered utilizing GC Control is the GC Control waffle. Now, if you're part of R3, you've heard this recipe. Add eggs to GC Control, and it's an amazing just quick snack that helps to provide all the benefits of GC Control, but in a fun way. That if you don't want to drink a shake, there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize GC Control.
Yeah, we just launched the R3 cookbook. There's lots of recipes in there that utilize some of these products, and that's a good way to help you to make smarter choices. So one question here, Patrick, on GC Control was, can you explain the price difference here?
Sure.
So you want to go ahead and answer that one?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people if you're a regular GC Control user, you saw a slight price increase with this. Actually, what's happened is it's not been a price increase per serving at all. What you've seen is the previous GC Control, there was a 10 serving option. This new GC Control here is actually a 15 serving option. So the price increase is actually only due to the serving increase that happened. And actually, if you look at the price per serving, it actually went down slightly. And so overall, you're getting the even better value, just a slightly increased serving size, and that's where that price increase came from.
Okay, yep, that makes sense. So another question here: sucralose-free options, sweetener options. So let's talk a little about that. You want to take that one? You want me to go?
Sure. I mean, with many of our products, we always have our special dietary. So that did not go away with the launch of GC Control. So here you'll see we have our special dietaries that offers a non-whey version of the protein, so a plant-based protein, as well as it's sweetened. It doesn't have the sucralose sweetener in there as well. So that's option for those of you who want something, those differences with this product. And it's available in the chocolate flavor.
Yeah, so you've got options there regardless of what your dietary preferences are, and that's something that we want to make sure if you've got a certain preference there that we're providing those options, and so that's why we call special dietary preferences, and it's available. Any other questions here that we haven't already covered that you think we need to?
I think we've covered them all, Isaac. I think it's time. Let's talk about some things that are outside of this area. Some exciting launches that we have that we mentioned maybe slightly at launch, but didn't really go into, and some things that are coming in the future that people should know about.
Yeah. All right. So let's. We also launched the Dramatic Impact Mascara, and for those of you who don't know, Patrick's got a really extensive history in the beauty industry, working with some of the largest companies in the world. So he is the expert here. So I'm going to turn over him and tell us a little bit more about Dramatic Impact Mascara, because we really just barely touched on it. So let's talk a little more about the differences between that and other mascaras, the role that this plays, and let's talk more about it.
Absolutely. So I am actually really excited to talk about Dramatic Impact Mascara because it's actually been in the work for years. We actually started development on this mascara long before COVID even started. So it's been something that we've been working on for quite some time to really perfect what is this false lash effect that we have within our mascaras. Now you can see the difference in the lashes themselves and what the difference is between the other two mascaras that we have within our line, which, by the way, to answer a question, are not going away. So this is not a replacement.
Okay.
This is an actual addition to our mascara line, and we're launching initially in the black, non-waterproof initially as well. So that's a question that's come up a lot. But the effect that we see people have within their lashes and the look of those lashes is actually incredible. I've already started to see throughout social media people posting the effects that it has and their dramatic look that they're creating. One of the things that you want to be aware of if you haven't purchased the mascara is if you have used one of our other two, is the brush is dramatically different in size. It is quite large. And if you're using it for the first time, it takes a little bit of finessing and figuring out how to make it work. But once you've got it, the impact is absolutely incredible. It's an absolutely really, really cool product. And it's actually something that you should add to your repertoire of mascaras. Anybody who utilizes mascaras, I know I'm a guy, but I'm also a licensed cosmetologist, so take that for what it's worth. But anybody who uses mascaras, you always want to create new looks. You want to be playing around with what your look is, how it looks differently. So it's a really good third addition to your mascara collection. And so you definitely want to try it and give it a go because it is incredible.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, I mean, really for all of these products is, every time when we launch a new product, we have forecasts and we're kind of saying, here's what we're anticipating, and it Dramatic Impact Mascara is way exceeding that forecast. Customers are really excited. We're saying the same thing on bourbon. Really, all of the products that we launched, we're seeing really, really high demand, and people are really, really excited about it. And so we're working hard to make sure we stay in stock because they're moving fast.
They're moving fast, and that's exciting to see the response that you've had to all these products, and I know you'll continue to have because, again, they're incredible. I can't say enough about how incredible they are. But I think we should talk about why we're on Sabella, why we're on Color Cosmetics. I think we should talk about something that's coming, that's been in the works for probably far too long.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm excited. Let's hear it.
So I remember when I first started, one of the first questions I asked is like, we've got to figure out how to match foundation. We're an online retailer. If you've ever bought a liquid foundation, color matching is one of the hardest things to do. Well, you probably don't know, but your wife may be able to tell you and relate. But finding the right shade of liquid foundation can always be a struggle. And even though our amazing money back guarantee allows you some flexibility, sending it in and getting it back can always cause some sort of conflict. And we've been working really hard to find a solution to make that easier for you. So with the launch of our new liquid foundation that happened this past August, where we extended our shade to 33, we also found a way to be able to sample our liquid foundations and give all of you all out there the opportunity to find your perfect match before buying. So let me walk you through that program.
Okay. So you're telling me you're going to send me 33 shades?
No. Okay. Let me walk you through that.
Okay.
Let me walk you through. So what I'm going to do is how the program will work is you will go online and there'll be 3 different SKUs or offerings available. There'll be each SKU will have 11 shades.
Okay.
So there'll be a grouping of light shades, a grouping of medium shades, and a grouping of dark shades. Okay. So 11 within each grouping, and it'll be I'm going to use this comp here, so it'll look a little bit like this. This is just a printed paper, and they're little sample packets. So 11 shades in light, 11 shades in medium, and 11 shades in dark, and each will come with a foundation primer sample as well.
Okay, so I get the full experience.
You get the full experience. So what you'll do is you'll go online and you'll buy one of these 3 SKUs. And basically we're offering to you at cost.
Okay.
You'll get that sample pack and you'll be able to go in, play, try, be able to match what is your perfect shade. Now I'd always recommend to try to shade match along the jawline here so you get the blend between your neck and your face, and there'll be full instructions on the sheet of how to do that shade matching if you're unfamiliar with it. So once you find your perfect shade, the amazing part about it is the following month after you buy this sample pack, is there'll be a coupon in your coupon page that will allow you to then go and purchase the full-size liquid foundation with the discount applied for what you paid for the sample pack. So essentially, the sample pack is free to you once you purchase your full-size liquid foundation. So once you purchase it, the next month following that purchase, it will be in your coupons page, and it will be available in that coupon page until you use it for up to 6 months after that. So you'll have 6 months to make the decision and buy and utilize that coupon. So what this solves for you is be able to get to find that perfect shade and not have that guesswork that can frustrate so many. Now, for the builders out there, there will also be a builder pack that you can go in and buy 3 at a time, and it's going to be at a discount. It doesn't come with a coupon, but it is a way to buy multiple of these at one time, and it will be a configurable SKU, meaning that you can pick light, medium, or dark. You can pick one of each. You can pick 2 of one and 1 of the other, or you can pick all 3 of a light, all 3 of a medium, or all 3 of a dark. Up to you based off who you're working with. So as much flexibility as possible, and hopefully this is able to solve a lot of the frustrations of that shade matching and get this amazing new liquid foundation into everyone's hands and be able to try it and replace and get rid of that old department store stuff that guarantee you, because I've worked on them, you're paying far too much for.
Yeah. So when is this going to be available, Patrick? When can I start doing the shade matching?
Starting at convention, so right mid-May, this will be available online, and there'll be a lot more information. We'll do some more trainings about it so you know exactly how it will work, but I hope you're excited as we are, because this is a long time coming and a long time in the works.
Yeah, so we've got several other exciting things that are coming, and one of the things I'm really excited about is kind of a place where we're going to be able to play around with some new products and introduce them in a little bit of a fun way. And so this is basically an end-of-order incentive program. So Patrick, tell us a little bit more about that and how that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac, have you ever, you love a product, but you've just gotten to the point where it's like, I'm sick of this flavor. Have you already reached that
Flavor
point?
fatigue
Oh,
happens
gosh.
to everybody.
Happens to me all the time. And so we were thinking about how do we get new flavors out there, but also, incentivize people to, to shop with us a little more. And so what we're starting, and this is actually going to launch in February, is every other month throughout 2024, when you hit 44 points within your cart, it's going to unlock the opportunity to buy a limited edition flavor of a specific product. So let me explain it to you. So February, which is coming up very quickly, in February, when you hit your 44 product point order, you will have the opportunity to buy a new limited edition flavor of our Sustain Active Electrolyte Hydration. And this is in the flavor Frosted Lime. It is incredible. I just been drinking it this morning. It is
I love the flavor. Love the
It
flavor.
is so good. But it is only available in that scenario, and it's only available actually while supplies last. So we've produced a very limited quantity of this product. So when you go into shop in February, and it's actually going to start slightly after the first of the month, so it's going to start February 5th.
Okay.
When you go in, you hit your 44-point order, you'll have the opportunity to put this in your cart and add it. There will be a limit of 2. But it will be available only while supplies last through that month. Now, we're going to be doing this every other month throughout 2024. And every other month, every time we do it, it's going to be a different product with a new limited edition flavor.
So we're not just talking Sustain.
No.
We're talking all sorts of different products.
No, yeah, we're talking coffee, we're talking energy kicks, we're talking ProFlex protein. So throughout the year, you want to watch and pay attention because we'll be doing those throughout and giving you the opportunity to try some really cool, fun new flavors of our core amazing products. And I'm excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll be paying really close attention to see what that experience is like and looking for your feedback. But it's a really fun way for us to be able to play around with some different flavors, some different formulations, get some response on them. And it's something really exciting to look forward to as you're shopping and taking advantage of the Shipping on Us program.
Yeah, absolutely. So Isaac, one of the things that I've had questions about a little bit as we've launched the Berberine product is that there's a slightly different look and feel to it than we've had in the past. Can you tell me what's going on there?
Yeah, so you'll see there's a lot more here talking specifically about Vitality for Life. So within Melaleuca, Melaleuca is the wellness company, and Melaleuca is also the store, and there's a huge variety of different products that we have. And there are different, I'll call it, whether it's nuances or there's differences in how we approach them. So when it comes to our Vitality for Life products, that's our supplements, that's our nutrition products. There are some unique technologies that we have and some unique approaches. Like we go through unique processes when it comes to testing botanicals and unique things that are specific to the Vitality for Life space. And we have different things that we do in EcoSense, and that's our cleaning products. And we have different things that we do within Sabella. And so as it comes to some of those things, one of the things that's a real challenge is when you have as many products as we have, making sure that we're communicating all of those differences and helping you understand the different approach that we have within our supplement space or maybe our cleaners or within Sabella and our beauty products, that becomes a real challenge. And so we're making sure that it's really clear that Vitality for Life is really sticking out. So we have this, strong, prominent V that represents the vitality that comes from using Melaleuca supplements, and that will help us to be able to communicate. And especially as there are new customers that are joining us, which we have new customers joining us all the time, we're going to be able to stronger communicate the differences that come with our supplements, the differences in our approach, the difference in our testing, which really then results in the difference in the experience and really the efficacy of that product. And that's why we're changing up that branding. And so you'll see it here, and you'll see it in new products. Is it all right if I jump into?
Yeah, please.
We've got a small change that's coming up within our Vitality D3 product. So we're actually moving to a soft gel format on this, and this is coming up here relatively soon.
Yep.
And those soft gels, a little bit of a faster absorption, really close to the same, but as we're making there's a little bit of improvement here, and in that particular scenario, you'll see this as we're making this change, and through our Vitality for Life supplements throughout the year, you're going to start seeing this change and seeing a more consistent look and feel, which is another thing. As you looked across all of our supplements, you had a variety of different looks and feels, and we want to make sure that it's cohesive and that we're clear that it's one message that's all about helping you live a longer, more vibrant life, because that's what we're about at Melaleuca.
Absolutely. One of the cool design features on here, if you let me point it out, is we all know how important peak performance is to offering, our supplement offering, and the power it can have on your life. One of the things that this new design language has added is on the back here. I know it's small for all of you, but you'll see right above the supplements facts panel, there's a little symbol that will teach you how to utilize our different supplements and what we're calling pair it with Peak. Okay. So, whether you take it with the AM pack or the PM pack, it will have a little symbol there that will say, take this with your AM pack, take this with your PM pack. So you know exactly when and how to use it. And of course, always be using it with Peak Performance.
Yeah. And for those where you can take it with AM or PM, you'll notice that it says any there, so you can take it at any of those particular times. But it's, I think, really helpful as you're taking your Peak Performance Pack, which is something I highly recommend being on because of the impact that it can have in a variety of different places. But we want you to be able to be really comfortable in pairing these products with Peak Performance. One thing that I thought of, it was a question that was asked earlier, we didn't quite answer, and that was around like, hey, is berberine safe for younger, whatever, like for younger people? And I think as we're talking about pairing things with Peak Performance, I think it's a really good time to maybe address that question. So you want to talk about the safety of berberine just a little bit, and also I'll call it, some of the stuff we've done, I'll call it with behind the pairing of the Peak.
Yeah, I think anytime, you talk about supplementation and when and how to take it, everybody's going to be different. And so with any supplement, we always recommend 18 or older. That's just your general approach to saying it. It's important that even within those, everybody's medical condition is different, everybody's medical situation is different. So it's always wise to check with your doctor and make sure your physician is well aware of what you're taking in the supplement space and what you're not taking, because it all plays together, it all has an impact. One of the important things about berberine is, especially if you're on diabetic medication, you want to make sure to check with your doctor because of the impact it can have, especially if you're taking a drug like a metformin. Okay. It can have a building effect upon that, and so you want to always be careful, and especially if you're on prescription drugs that play within the same body areas that you're working with, you want to always check and make sure, hey, this is okay. It's not going to conflict, and it's not going to cause further problems.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think one of the things that we do, especially as we're looking at pairing with Peak, is coming back to the original product philosophy. We have the same group of scientists that are working, that are involved in these things, and we're taking a look at that overall piece. Not that everyone's going to take every supplement every day, because your individual health is dependent on you, but safety is something that is absolutely paramount for us, and that's one of the things that we do look at really, really carefully, and we're aware of that. And exactly like Patrick said, if you are on some sort of prescription, you got to be aware of that and make sure that you're taking your doctor's advice. But if you're not on metformin or you're not on some sort of prescription, absolutely, you can take berberine. Pay attention to your health, pay attention to the impact that you're seeing. But it's a very natural product, and we're really, really proud to offer it as part of our offering. Coming back to the Vitality for Life branding, the Pair with Peak, you're going to see a lot more of that, so that it's really clear that this is all connected, because these supplements do work well together. And as we're looking through the research there, we're making sure that they are complementary, and that's one of the benefits that you get in with our LEGO technology, is that you don't have some of, I'll call it the counteracting effects. So a typical national brand supplement, they're trying to give you minerals, and they're giving those minerals in a form that's going to cause free radicals, which is going to destroy the vitamins, the antioxidants in the very same pill, and those really don't work together. We make sure our products work well together and are synergistic, and that really helps us to be really set apart when it comes to the Vitality for Life space.
Absolutely. It's about really, how does it impact every area of wellness? How does it make your life? How does it enhance your life? Going all the way back to at the beginning in our mission.
Yeah. Okay, so other things that are coming up, we've got a little bit more to share with you.
A little more.
Little bit
almost
more.
There.
And just to be clear, this is part of you asked, we answered, and we're going to want to continue doing this some more. So if there are questions we didn't answer, please let them in. We'll, whether it's an email, an LIA thing, or another product training, we want to make sure that you're getting your questions answered and allowing us to be able to dive in a little bit deeper. So another change that's coming up here is we're making some tweaks to our Rest Easy product. Now, this is a product we launched a couple years ago and have gotten really phenomenal reviews on it. And we're really changing, I would say, a small part of the triple action formula. So the triple action formula on this basically the first part is to help you relax. And there's 3 different ingredients we have there. We're changing one of those, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. Then we have an instant release melatonin, which is the second part of that triple action formula, which is going to help you fall asleep. And then we have an extended release melatonin, which is going to help you stay asleep. And so that's really this triple action formula. So within the relax component, we have L-theanine, we have ashwagandha, and then we have valerian root today, and we're making a change on that valerian root, which is one of those 3 things. So valerian root works by helping increase your GABA, which basically, without going into the science of it, it impacts, gives a calming effect because it changes a little bit of how the neurons in your brains interact. And so in this particular situation, valerian root helped create GABA, and unfortunately, valerian root for some people had kind of a negative smell to it, and so we've made a little bit of an adaptation. We're actually going to be adding that GABA directly rather than stimulating it with valerian root. So for the most part, not a big change, but wanted people to be aware of it. So if you were one of those people that didn't quite like the smell of it, that's going to be going away. And this is going to be replacing it, and this is coming up soon.
Very consistent benefits, just without any of the negative smells that go along with it. Okay, so what else, Isaac? Is there anything else that we need to let people know why we've had them here?
Yeah, so one of the other things that we got feedback on, we've gotten questions on, has to do with, I'll call it product discontinuations, why we do that, why we don't, hey, this product went away, why is that? I wanted to spend a little bit of time, and feel free to jump in on any of this, Patrick. So even though COVID was quite some time ago, it really changed a lot of things in the supply chain world. And things that used to be very, very simple, because there's fewer competitors in that space, or there's different things, it's really changed a lot of, whether it's packaging, or for us, we spend a lot of time making sure that we are sourcing really, really high quality ingredients. And there was a lot of things that were impacted in that space. And so as we've come across some of these things, those ingredient sources, sometimes there's been cost increase, and so we've had to take a really hard look at some of the low movers in our category to try and figure out, how do we balance this? We don't want to increase prices any more than we have to. We want to make sure that we are here and serving you in the short term, but we also need to make sure that long term the company is still around, and so that's a really fine balance for us. And so there have been products that we have, that we've discontinued, or things that we've changed. So, in this situation, as we talk about GC Control, this is replacing both the Etain and the old GC Control, and so there are some flavor options that dropped off on that. We'll continue to monitor this, and as we can economically, we may introduce additional flavors, but we're trying to make sure that we're able to offer you the best product at the best price long term. And sometimes when you spread it out on all those different flavors, that becomes a real challenge.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we're able to, we ran across a challenge, we made a decision, and we said, this is just not going to work based on the movement quantity. And other times we're able to work that through and find a way to potentially bring a product back.
Right.
And so for many of our long-term customers, I'm excited to let you know that our Access shakes are coming back. Now, instead of them being in a bag, we're going to have them in a canister. Right here, it's going to be the chocolate slam shake. And so I know many of you will be really excited about that. We were able to make that work and overcome some of the challenges we had. And so that's anything else on that I need to add?
No, I think you've said it. I think it's exciting for those of you who love the Access shake. It's the exact same formula, back just in the canister instead.
Yeah. So that's coming here. February is when that's going to be available, February 1st. And so I'm sure there'll be several people that will be looking forward to that. So Patrick, anything else as we look forward to the year that maybe we want to let people know is coming, or things that you're particularly excited about?
I'll tell you, I've been at Melaleuca coming up this year. I'll hit my 6-year mark, and I'll tell you, 2024 is going to be an amazing year. There's a lot coming down the line. We've talked about just some of the things that have happened here in January, and then the things coming here within the next few months. If we're talking May's going to be one of our most exciting, I would say, conventions in a while. There's a lot of things that we're going to talk about, a lot of new innovations coming, a lot of new ideas and science that we are going to unveil there at convention. So if you haven't come to convention before, or you haven't bought your ticket yet, or haven't committed to coming to convention, I really would encourage you to, because convention is going to be pretty mind-blowing this year. And then throughout the year, we've adjusted our launch processes to launch more frequently. So there's going to be things happening throughout the entire year this year. So you'll want to pay attention. Make sure you're continuously checking back on melaleuca.com, because there's a lot happening in 2024.
Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of have that continual reason for customers to come back every month, and whether it's a end of order special that's a unique flavor or a new product offering, there's going to be a lot more news spread out the year. And I am really excited. Just like Patrick said, we've got some things we've been working on for years and years that we finally get to share with you. I'm really looking forward to that. And hope you've enjoyed and maybe learned a few things about these products today. Patrick, anything else you want to share before we start to wrap up here?
I think we can wrap up. I would just always invite you, one of the things that makes Melaleuca special is we listened. And when we listen to our customers, we listen to our members, we listen to our leaders. And, this training came as a result of your suggestions. A lot of the products we do come as a result of your suggestions and your input and your engagement with us. So continue doing that. We love it. We love hearing your feedback. So don't stop it.
Yeah, we love the feedback. Keep it coming. And like you said, this is, we're going to do more. You asked, we answered, and we're excited about that. And we like combining all of the research that we're doing, and there are things we're working out multiple years in advance, and being able to figure out, okay, how does this meet your need? What are the needs that you're seeing? And we're able to combine that research-based approach with the fact that we know who our customers are, and we are a wellness community, and that really creates for some really, really powerful products that we get to share with you. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being a part of our mission of enhancing lives, and we're so glad to have you a part of us.
Thank you.